Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will start with the topic of effect of Q point location on AC operation. So the Q point is important for a distortion free output in amplifiers. Suppose we have a common emitter amplifier fixed by circuit, and in this case suppose we increase the value of RB. When we change the value of biasing resistors, the Q point shifts because the value of IC and VCE changes. So when we increase the value of RB, IB will decrease because IB and RB are inversely proportional. So when RB will increase, IB will decrease, and IC will also decrease as IC is proportional to IB. So when IC will increase, the value of VCE will increase. VC is equal to VCC minus IC RC. So when IC decreases, the value of ECE increases. So in this case, as the value of VCE has increased and the value of IC has decreased, the new Q point will be closer to the cutoff level. This is the cutoff level where the value of IB and IC is 0. So now the Q point is much closer to the cutoff level. So when an AC waveform is superimposed on this DC bias level, there will be a positive clipping in case of voltage and there will be a negative clipping in case of current. So as we have seen, by changing the value of RB, we have limited the value of output swing on the positive side in case of voltage, and we have limited the value of IC on the negative side because now the Q point is closer to the cutoff level. So these are the minimum and maximum levels in case of voltage, and this is the minimum and the maximum level in case of current. So the current can change from this positive side to only this minimum side. IC cannot be less than 0 amperes and VCE cannot be greater than the value of VCC. This is the limit of VCE, which is equal to VCC, the biasing voltage. So VCE cannot be greater than the value of VCC and IC cannot be less than the value of 0 amperes. That's why we have seen negative clipping in case of IC and positive clipping in case of VCE. Now we consider the second case when the value of RB is decreased. So as RB decreases, the value of IB will increase as both are inversely proportional, and also the value of IC will increase, but VCE will decrease. So as the value of IC has increased and the value of VCE has decreased, the Q point will now shift towards saturation level. So this is IC saturation, this is the saturation region. So Q point will now be closer to the saturation region. So how this shifting of Q point will affect the output voltage? As the Q point has shifted towards the saturation level and IC cannot be greater than IC maximum, so we will see a positive clipping in case of IC if we superimpose the AC voltage and current, and the value of and we will see the positive clipping in case of IC and negative in case of VCE because VCE cannot be less than 0 volt. This limit is of 0 volt and this limit is of IC maximum. The current cannot be greater than the IC maximum, that's why we have seen positive clipping in this case, and VCE cannot be less than 0 volts, so we have seen negative clipping in case of voltage as can be shown in the figure. So These were the two cases when the Q point shifts towards the cutoff and saturation level. There is also a third case in which the distortion can be produced, and this third case does not depend upon the location of Q point. This basically depends upon the value of input voltage. As you can see in the figure that Q point is in the middle of the active region, which means that there will be maximum possible swing on the positive and the negative side of both current and voltages. But if we change the input voltage Vs, if we increase the value of Vs, and V is so large that after multiplying with the gain, the output is greater than the limits of IC maximum, and on the negative side it is less than the value of 0 amperes. So these are the limits, IC maximum and 0 amperes. So we can see the positive and negative clipping in case of large Vs, both in case of current and voltage. You can see there is also positive and negative clipping in case of voltage too, because the voltage cannot be greater than VCC and it cannot be less than the value of 0 volt. So if you increase Vs too much, there will be both positive and negative clipping. So this is the third type of distortion which occurs due to the change in the value of small signal voltage. Now we will learn the topic linearity and distortion. How linearity affects the output waveform in case of amplifiers. So in order for any circuit or any device to be linear, any change in output must be directly proportional to change in input. For example, if we have delta V naught, change in output voltage is 1 volt for change in input voltage of 0.01, then delta V naught must be 2 volt if the change in input voltage is 0.02. Similarly, if the change in output is 0.5, then change in input should be 0.005. This shows that the input and output are linearly related. For this linear relation, the spacing between base currents in active region must be equal. Otherwise, the negative and positive sides of the AC waveform will not be equal. As you can see in this figure, this is the figure in which the IB is equally spaced for low amperes, and for higher values the spacing increases between IB and between different values of IB. This is the case because of the non-linearity of the amplifier. There are stray capacitances and inductances in amplifiers due to which non-linearity occurs, because non-linear voltage and current relationships are due to the capacitances and inductances present in the amplifier circuits. So as you can see that here is unequal spacing between different values of IB. So if the Q point is almost in the middle of the active region, so for this is IB minimum and this is IB maximum. So we will draw two lines across these current values and we will draw the output swing of the AC waveform. As you can see, because of the unequal spacing of IB values, there are dissimilar cycles on the positive and negative side. Then you can see the negative side is longer as compared to the positive side. It means that this peak voltage is greater than the positive side peak voltage. This is all due to the non-linearity of the transistor. But if there is equal spacing between IB values, as you can see in this figure, and as we draw lines from these IB minimum and maximum point and the Q point, then you can see that there will be similar cycles on the negative and the positive sides of VCE. So linearity is important for uniform output, AC output, and for the both cycles to be equal. So next, what is the effect of load resistance on AC operation? As you have seen that in an amplifier we connect a load across the output with the capacitor. So what is the effect of connecting RL in the circuit? In this case, when you connect RL, now the load line does not depend upon the value of RC only, because if you consider the value of the effect of Vs using superposition theorem, then you will short out all the DC voltages including capacitances. You will short this blue lines show that we have short circuited the DC voltages for considering the effect of AC voltage only. So if you only consider the effect of Vs, you can see that in this case the RC is in parallel with RL. So on the output side, the effective load is basically RC is in parallel with RL. So in this case, the load line will depend upon the parallel combination of RC and RL. So the parallel combination of RC and RL is called AC load resistance small RL. And now the AC load line depends upon the value of RL, not only RC. As you know, for DC the load resistance will be RC, and the load line depends upon the value of RC, as the slope of DC load line is equal to -1 over RC. But in case of AC load line, it will depend upon the value of RL. And as RL is smaller than RC, so the slope of AC load line will be greater. It means that AC load line will be much steeper than the DC load line. But AC load line will also pass through the same Q point, because Q point or DC bias level remains the same in both AC load line case and DC load line case. So in this figure, as you can see, this is the Q point, and the AC load line passes through this Q point, and DC load line also passes through this Q point. The slope of AC load line is -1 over RL, and the slope of DC load line is -1 over RC. Now check their intercepts. As you know that DC load line has current intercept of VCC over RC and voltage intercept of VCC. But for AC load line, the intercepts are VQ over RL plus IQ. VQ is the Q point value of voltage, and IQ is the Q point voltage of Q point level of current. So this portion is basically equal to IQ, the Q point value of current, and the rest of this portion is equal to VQ over RL, small RL. Similarly, for this intercept of AC load line, the intercept is equal to VQ, the Q point value of voltage, plus IQ into RL. This portion up to the Q point is equal to VQ, the Q point level of voltage, and the rest of the value is equal to IQ RL. So the practical implication of AC load line is that it makes the magnitude of AC voltage smaller. As you can see in this figure, that AC load line is steeper than the DC load line. You can see the change in value of IB from IB minimum to maximum. This is the Q point value. Similarly, the IB minimum on DC load line changes from IB minimum to maximum. So when you draw three lines across the Q point and minimum and maximum levels, you can see that for AC load line the output swing is less than the AC voltage drawn with the values of DC load line. So the effect of including RL across the output is also that the magnitude of the output voltage is limited in case of AC load line. So if the Q point shifts on DC load line due to change in RB, AC load line will also shift in this form. As you can see, the Q point has shifted on this graph. Then the AC load line will now pass through these new levels, Q point levels. Another result of connecting RL is that it reduces the maximum permissible voltage swing at output of amplifier, which is the same as previous one. So how it limits the value of maximum permissible voltage swing at the output of amplifier is that because we have with the Q point on which AC is superimposed, we have two levels, above Q point and below Q point, maximum swing above the Q point and maximum swing below the Q point. But maximum swing above the bias value and below the bias level should be equal for a linear amplifier. So in this case we will take the minimum of the two voltages. If IQRL is less than VQ, then we will take IQRL as the maximum swing above and below the Q point level. If we do not take both of them equal, then there will be dissimilar semicycles above the Q point and below the Q point. So also VQ is equal to VCC minus IQ RC, and VQ is equal to IQRL for a distortion free output. So equating both the values of VQ, IQRL must be equal to VCC minus IQRC, and from this you can find the value of IQ, which will be equal to VCC over RL plus RC. This is the optimum value of IQ, and the optimum value of VQ will be equal to VCC minus IQ RC. So for optimum value of VQ and IQ, we will choose that output swing that is smallest. So there is an example to clarify the previous topic. Suppose we have a fixed bias circuit here, and you have to find the maximum peak to peak output voltage that the amplifier in the figure can produce without clipping at the output. So first you will find the value of IB, which is equal to VCC minus VBE divided by 280 kilo ohms RB. It is equal to 51.1 microamperes. Then you will find the value of IC, which is equal to beta times IB, and this IC is equal to IQ, basically Q point current. So VQ is basically equal to VCE, the Q point voltage is equal to VCE, which is equal to VCC minus ICRC, and it is equal to 7.34 volt. Now RL is parallel combination of RC and RL, and it is equal to 892 ohms. As VQ is equal to 7.34 volt and IQRL is found to be 4.56 volt, then we will select the output swing that is smallest one, which is IQRL, and it is equal to 4.56 volt. So the AC voltage will be positive 4.56 above Q point, and it will be negative 4.56 below the Q point, and the peak to peak voltage will be 2 multiplied by this voltage, which is equal to 9.12 peak to peak. If you have selected the value of 7.34 volt, then there will be negative 7.34 below the Q point, but above the Q point the voltage is limited by this factor 4.56. It cannot be greater than 4.56 volts, so there will be positive clipping. So you have to select the smallest one, which is 4.56 volt. So next we move to the amplifier analysis using small signal models. As we have to analyze the amplifier circuit, so and using algebraic models, not graphically, so there must be some models on which we can do the algebraic analysis. So these equivalent circuit or models are based on transistor parameters. So what are the transistor parameters? Transistor parameters are transistor characteristics or property that can be given any numerical value. For example, alpha and beta are transistor characteristics or parameters. Others are derived from these characteristic parameters. So beta, small signal beta is defined as IC over IB, or you can say that change in IC divided by change in IB at a fixed value of VCE. It means that you will draw a straight line from VCEQ, and from this straight line you will find the value of delta IB and delta IC. Delta IC over delta IB is equal to beta. So you will find the value of beta from this equation, and beta DC is simply equal to IC over IB. There is small difference in beta and beta DC, so both are considered almost same. Also, small signal alpha will be equal to change in collector current divided by change in emitter current at a fixed value of VCB, at a fixed value of collector to base voltage. Next is emitter resistance. So emitter resistance is also important because it is the resistance from emitter to base terminal and is also called dynamic emitter resistance. So this is basically the resistance of a forward bias diode. So a forward bias diode has dynamic resistance of RD, called RD, which is equal to VT thermal voltage divided by I. VT is equal to 0.026 or 26 millivolt at 25 degrees centigrade. So in case of emitter resistance, this RD will be equal to RE dash. This is emitter resistance, the resistance of emitter to base terminal, or the resistance of a forward bias diode, because emitter to base junction is forward bias. So RE dash is equal to 0.026 divided by I, which is IEQ, the Q point value of IE in this case. So another parameter, this is an important parameter, the emitter resistance. You will use it in many configurations. Next is collector resistance, RC. This is basically equal to change in collector to base voltage divided by change in collector current at a fixed value of IE. It is the resistance from collector to base actually, and also it is the output resistance in case of common base configuration, because in case of common base configuration we take output at the collector base terminal. So this is basically the resistance from collector to base terminal, and it is same as the output resistance in case of common base configuration. So up till now we have studied different parameters, and next we will inshallah study the common base configuration based on these parameters. So you have to keep in mind these all parameters on which we will base the transistor models.